What's up, everyone? My name is Brandon Elliott, your host to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm super excited today. We have an amazing guest, Mr. Nick, my good friend. How you doing, brother?
Hey, good. How are you, my friend?
Good, man. I would pronounce your whole name, but but I don't want to butcher it. So I'll let you introduce yourself and kind of give us a little bit about your history and how you got into real estate.
Sure, yes. So my full name is Nick Kazakov, and I've been dealing with real estate for a while, and just kind of background history is I've been in finance pretty much about for a decade, about 12 years. I went to University of Utah for and always I was pursuing the career in finance and graduate in finance and mechanical engineering, work in banking and investments based on mortgage-backed securities.
Hmm. What bank was that you were working for?
That was a smaller bank that I was working for, but then later I was working for the actual mortgage servicer. So I was working with like big financial institutions like U.S. Bank, like Credit Suisse. So big guys.
Okay, nice. So how'd you find yourself? I mean, you were kind of in that atmosphere the whole time, and then eventually you got excited about real estate, or just figured, you have to get in there as well?
Well, yes. I mean, I started investing in real estate back in 2008 when I bought my first house, and that was definitely in 2008. It was a good time to invest, and now it's actually giving me a good opportunity to use those investments in this time of this time, because obviously the equity of the properties went up like significantly, and then that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of using those equities for my future investments. So yeah, I've started investing back in 2008, but I've been working as a W-2 employee, and now almost a year and a half, I'm a full-time real estate investor.
Okay, nice, nice. So in 2008, when you bought your first property, that was right after the crash, obviously.
Yes, it was a very tough decision to make, but I did it, and I guess I had a stable job, and I guess I kind of had the investor mind back then already, and so that definitely helped me now term.
Okay. Now, when it comes to making that decision, I know you're already surrounded in that atmosphere and education yourself, but did you have any mentors or any like real estate seminars that you went to, or any other education in real estate to actually be able to get that confidence to pull the trigger?
Yes, definitely. If you want to be a successful real estate investor, entrepreneur, you definitely need to educate yourself. And yes, I went to several seminars. Actually, I was trying so many things. Honestly, I was trying to come up with some sort of a business, and I tried. I was even thinking to be in franchise. So I've tried that, like storages, for example, and haircuts. So there
Yeah.
was a lot of stuff that I was trying to see what would be best working for me. But in the overall in long term, I was realizing for myself that everyone obviously want to have a house. Everyone want to raise a pretty much family, and I think that was a great decision back in 2008. And later on, I was visiting few seminars, and I actually do met my mentor in one of those seminars, and I joined his team. He's definitely been a big help, and we are still friends, and still he still helps me out. So I guess the number one thing in real estate investor, and I totally agree with this concept that you have to have a mentor. You have to have someone you can rely on, especially when you starting your career as a real estate investor.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you feel about seminars in general, or just that education realm?
Well, I would say, I mean, I would say any education. not all of the education can be beneficial, but overall, I think I did gain the knowledge, and definitely I've met. It's all about network as well. I mean, the network is your net worth. So I definitely met some people. I'm still in contact now, and actually some people I'm still doing business with.
Nice. So you've always had that mindset to be an entrepreneur and really come up with some kind of strategy to make your money work for you and really, build up some other streams of income. Um,
Right. Yeah.
when,
Well, go ahead.
so when it comes down to some trials and errors, when you're coming across, finding your niche, whether it was in real estate or not, what were your learning experiences?
Well, it's a path. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
It's a big path, and I mean, I would say I'm actually have an analytical type of mind. As I said, I've been a real estate investment. The position that I had when I was W-2, it was investment analyst. So I was, like I said, I was dealing with a lot of analysis. So it's not much of our communicative work. And then I decided for myself, hey, you need to decide for yourself, hey, where you need to improve. So it seems like I need to improve. I need to talk to more people. That's why actually I went to those seminars.
Yeah.
That's why I tried to do something I've never done before, communicate more with the people, negotiate, all of this good stuff. So you need to, I guess, for yourself, you kind of need to figure out, hey, this is the good things, this is the things I'm very powerful at, and there's things that I'm weak at. So if you want to become better, obviously you need to work on your weaknesses,
Mm,
and if you do that, then it will you'll be a better person and more successful.
yeah.
That's for
I
sure.
like that. I like that. Sorry, brother. I had to pause for a second because my dogs are acting crazy. But they're having too much fun playing. But anyway, so as far as, you know, some of your deals, let's just dive into some of the deals that you've come across.
Okay.
What did your first deal look like?
Well, I mean, so like I have mentioned that I mean it's good to have a mentor, and then so you can ask all of these questions through the process. And the first couple of the deals I actually did, and most of my deals I do is some sort of a partners, right? So
Mm,
either you bring a credit, either you bring knowledge, either you bring money, or either you bring relationship to the table. So you got
okay.
to bring something to the table. So back then, I was obviously I didn't have too much knowledge, and I said, hey, I'll bring some money to the table, and I did, and that's how we start working on one of the first on the first deal. And that deal went okay. I mean, we did make some money, and
Who was your partner on that one? And is that
well,
still your partner today?
well, it's actually was my mentor. Yes,
Okay.
my mentor. Yes. So we kind of went through the process. I mean, he walked me through and through analysis, through acquiring the property, all of this good stuff. So, but then, if you want to talk about my my deal, that was actually my first deal was the worst deal.
Yeah. Okay. Throw it at me. Let's hear something.
But yeah, so this
Mine
is
wasn't the best either.
well, I mean, eventually we actually got break even, and but this one was that was a townhouse, and honestly, I decided for myself after this deal, I'm not gonna deal with townhouses or condos as my investments as far as you if you want to talk about flipping.
Yeah.
All right. Of course, the rentals would be just fine, but we acquired this property through the wholesaler, and everything was just fine. And we did a great remodel, and but then we come up with the problem when we were start selling the property because it was an HOA unit, and there was only 4 units HOA, and then we start problem with the HOA because one of the residents uh, was in bankruptcy. Was in bankruptcy. That's why it was tough to find a buyer. I mean, obviously, it was we need to find a cash buyer, or we need to approve this buyer the for the credit, and that was tough to do because not every financial institution will approve you when there's some sort of issues with HOA. So,
Exactly.
so that's
So
why.
as far as that deal, how long did that process take to actually finalize? And you guys
Well, I
just
mean,
broke even, you said?
yeah, we were in this deal up to 6 months.
Okay.
It was 6 months, so honestly, our hard money cost eat our profits
Yeah.
because it was tough to find, and but eventually we did find it, and like I said, and I was just ready to move on. But like I said, we didn't make anything. It was frustrating, but we learned a lot of stuff. Number one, like I said, I mean, I made a decision that I'm not gonna deal. I'm only deal with the single family housing going forward, and do your due diligence. Make sure everything is in shape as far as like everyone is on top if you are investing with the properties involving HOA.
Yeah. So, so definitely do your due diligence. That's obviously number one. That's very key. So many people, that's how you know if you're making money right when you're buying it, obviously, if the numbers are run correctly. And then, so moving forward, you don't mess around with anything except single family houses
Yes, we only.
and
Mhm.
and also so you eliminated doing condos and anything that has to do with HOA fees. So um, moving forward, do you typically give yourself more time as well into the due diligence just in case? Because 6 months to me, it doesn't sound for problems to come up and occur. That's not the worst story that I've heard. I've heard of a year or longer, and then the hard money costs just get outrageous. Um, so moving forward, do you typically give yourself a little bit more time now?
Definitely, due diligence is the number one key, and the number that would you need to do cautiously, and make sure everything is top notch on this subject. Say, uh, yes, I agree. I mean, 6 months is not as 6 months is 6 months. I mean, but my say for example, my goal in the properties to from start to finish is usually at this point is 3 months.
3 months
So
in and out.
yes,
Okay.
so you buy the property, you get the team, you do your due diligence, and then obviously I'm not waiting for 30 days to close on the property at this point. Either I'm using some cash funds, some private money, or more, maybe some cash that we generated from other projects, and we just go for it. And that's the thing. I would say you have to do due diligence, but sometimes you don't have too much time to do due diligence. You need to make that decision right away. So because the market getting very competitive these days, and you gotta make your decisions fast. So you need to make decision fast. You need to act fast. You need to make sure your team in place and doing the job. So, and that's the thing. You have to have a great team to accomplish this terms. You have to have a good realtors. You have to have a good team of contractors, some insurance agent, and et cetera, attorney, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So, few things that definitely a team, great team will provide good results.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, action taking is something that everybody that I've interviewed so far just keeps on repeating. It's like you need to not procrastinate and really just take that action and take the risk. But at the same time, it is very, very important for listeners out there like just getting started or trying to understand the numbers to, you know, within real estate, one of the big reasons why I love real estate is that there's so many different ways to structure a real estate deal. So there's so many options for the most part to really, if you mess up or problems occur over time, then there's always a plan B, C, D, and just, so forth. So definitely do your due diligence, but know that if you educate yourself enough on those problems that occur, that there's always a way out of it, typically. So let's talk about partnerships really quick, because that's something that I'm just starting to get into. As I'm getting more properties, I've realized that a lot of people, when they ask me about these deals, they love the ratio, the high ROIs, and they want to start, joining in and start partnering up. So I'm actually just getting into my first joint venture, and it's pretty exciting, but it's something that, I could definitely use some help with your experiences, some learning curves possibly that you might have gone through. Can you give any feedback when it comes to transparency, or just how you guys structure deals, and how you guys really make that team? I know you brought up a few minutes ago that, when it comes to partnerships, there always needs to be something that is brought to the table from each partner. And you were the money partner at the time, but now that you're getting some experience, how do partnerships work with you typically now?
Yes. So as I mentioned, exactly right. That you have to bring something to the table. So back then, I was using some of my own money, and then I build a good stand credit. So I use the credit as well to finance those properties.
Mm-hmm.
Or or definitely, if I didn't have much of an education, but as I've done at least, I would say, 3 to 4 flips with my mentors, and then I guess I was ready for my own thing, and that's how it started. So you know what? The funny thing, and I guess it's maybe it sounds funny, but if you want to be successful, just copy successful people. That's what you gotta do.
I like that. Yeah.
Just work with the guys who know what needs to be done. They know what to do, and they can help you with the learning path. And that's what I did. I just copied, and I just started doing it myself. And now I have some private money partners who's actually investing in properties, and some of those deals I'm actually not providing any money out of my pocket.
Hell yeah. I like that.
Now you kind of switch the roles, and instead of pouring the money or credit, you are the one who is providing the knowledge, and then yeah, and then I love to educate people as well. I mean, as you getting through those stages, you become more confident, and but there's always have to be something. I mean, there's not going to be always 100% the way you're going to think it's going to be. In these deals, there's something can come up, and then you are learning as well. It's not like I'm saying, hey, I know everything. No,
Yeah.
you're always learning. You always have some scenarios coming up, but as overall, as a base, as a foundation, you can say in real estate, you know what you're doing, and that's my feedback.
Yeah.
Just copy it and work with those successful people. That's how you gain the knowledge and be ready for your own.
Yeah. That's powerful. When you do surround yourself by like-minded individuals that are really a step or two just ahead of you, it really just enables them to really pull you up, and make those good decisions. Like you said, when it comes to learning, especially in real estate, I mean, real estate's always changing over time. So things that a lot of people were doing and being very successful with maybe 10 years ago aren't aren't necessarily the same now. Um, so to the day we die, in real estate, we're constantly going to be learning more and more things every day. But yeah, I like that. Um, as far as projects currently right now, what are you working on?
We're working on three fix and flips at this point, and we are actually trying. I'm trying to get to land development. So we're looking at some projects at this point, but as far as like my fix and flips, I'm just gonna give you heads up. I mean, I can consider myself that still a beginner. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm doing this full time, but still I'm on a learning curve. And I'm say for example, Salt Lake market is definitely growing big time, and I'm not dealing with the properties that are like $500,000. I'm dealing with properties say from 150 to 300,000. So, and the reason why, I mean, I have a two teams, at least two teams in place who's working on projects in the same time, and I want to complete those projects fast. So that's what I love to do. 2 3 months the top, but that's what we are working on. And then I'm trying to get into land development where I can actually trying to educate myself and talk to those successful people on the land development and see what we can do and try new things.
Yeah. Yeah. With your education history in the past with doing um, engineering, I'm sure that would kind of get exciting and definitely help out in that avenue for building up, as well as the single family houses that you guys are doing right now. Is that more like cookie cutter type of projects that are you know uh, fresh paint, carpet, a little bit of work in the kitchen or bathroom, and then you guys are geared towards selling that to like a first time home buyer?
It depends. It depends. Say I have couple. So say I have two different projects. One of them a little bit more upscale house, and one of them it's in a more nicer neighborhoods of Salt Lake, and then there is another one which is not as nice. So that's the thing. I mean, as far as um, getting to the projects, you need to kind of analyze and realize who is going to be your end potential buyer.
Yeah.
That's what you need to realize. That's how you're gonna determine what type of materials, what you're actually gonna do with this property. Say, for example, on this property, it's more of a nicer house, so we decided to actually move some walls out. We want to open the kitchen. We want to put some cans so we can get this. It's a smaller house, but it's a nice neighborhood. That's why you have to provide the very quality materials.
Okay.
So we move some walls out. We actually gonna build um, a new bathroom, So that will take some time. Did take some time for us to do. So then we actually provide a brand new HVAC for this house as well.
Mm.
So and then we're gonna do hardwood floors, paint, and replacing the windows, paint the whole house. So quite a bit of money on this one. But again, this house will sell for much higher value than the other one that we're doing that I'm not providing as much time and as not as great of quality materials, say, as an example.
Okay. Nice. So you always kind of keep in mind, like, vision, what the end buyer would look like and what they would want for their needs and interest, to determine how you're actually going to go about the remodel of each property.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to kind of image and I always when I buy even buying a property, I'm thinking how I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah.
That's how it is. I mean, in these projects, okay, what I'm gonna do, you have your vision, you're trying to visualize, and then you try to realize, hey, who's the buyer, who is actually gonna uh, buy this property. You don't have to fall in love with your properties like any other investments in
Yeah,
life.
I have. I made that mistake with start to, I go in and something, it really doesn't need to be fixed, but I'm like, you know what? That would look way better if I spent a couple $100 here. And then you go over to the next room and it's like, I could do this, make it real beautiful. And
And it's tough to do. It's tough
yeah,
to do. And that's another mistake that I did when I was doing my first flip on my own business, HOA trouble, where we put too much of great materials. I mean, it was nice neighborhood, but still, you need to kind of watch yourself and realize, hey, here's my budget, here's my end client,
stick to it.
here's I'm gonna sell it for by doing the comps, by talking to real estate, to your network, realize, hey, that's the price. You always have to budget everything.
Yeah.
if you want to make money, and that's how it goes.
Yeah. No, that's good. Um, have you ever had any issues with actually selling the property at the end?
Well, I mean, the only time we had the issue is with this condo where we have the HOA trouble.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, we have a very competitive market, and there's usually even now at this during the winter times, uh,
Yeah,
there's
normally it slows down.
it normally slows down, but it's not. That's
Okay.
it's not at this point. Well, you probably might have less offers, but you'll still have a couple. Uh,
Do you have any investors that come in and actually, try to pick up your properties for an investment? Or is it all end buyers that, for personal consumption?
yes, I mean there is a possibility when the investors actually uh, can acquire the property from me. Say in the case of a seller finance, and I've
Yeah.
done few transactions on this part. So where we buy the property, say on the seller finance, we fix it up, and then we sell to another investor.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Okay.
possible in this subject as well.
Yeah, I know. I typically like to pick up properties during the winter just because I feel like it's a good time, especially around the holiday seasons. Everybody's busy and not focusing so much on that aspect. So that's where I like to come in aggressively.
Yes, sir.
But when it comes down to getting your leads for these properties, let me ask you first as well. How many projects have you done so far? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, probably done about total of 10.
10? Okay, nice. So, how are you finding these leads right now?
Uh, well, I mean, when I was starting with doing real estate, I mean, started to try to do it full time. I was actually trying to just go to the KSL or Craigslist and make those calls for the rent to own or for the house that's selling currently on on the market. So maybe I actually had success and we bought a seller finance property. So that one of the seller was willing to do the seller finance property where we did the sandwich seller fi, meaning
Mm,
that meaning that we sell it, we buy it, and then remodel it and sell it again. So but later on, I mean, I established a good network with real estate agents, and at this point, I'm working, I would say, with at least 3 real estate agents, and that's another key to find the great real estate agents who can search the properties for you, who can do some analysis, so you can leverage your time,
yeah,
and that's exactly what I was trying to do and build. And that, like I said, at least 2 3 agents, they are working with me closely, and we have meetings on a weekly basis
oh, okay,
where we analyze the properties together,
yeah,
uh, and then make a decision whether we want to pursue this exact one. And then if we do, then we do take a look. Or sometimes they just go to the property and then take a video from me so I can see it myself. And like I said again, uh, time is the key. Time is the money.
yeah.
And
So, do you have any do you have any interest in buying holds, or are you just focusing on the fix and flip game right now?
yes, of course, I do. And then I do have few properties under my belt at this point. Definitely. Well, speaking about finance, cash flow is the king, and it is one of my favorite actually books, the Cash Flow Quadrant by Kiyosaki.
Yeah,
So I think the more cash flow, if you have a cash flow, constant cash flow flowing to your bank account, you'll be just fine. You just
yeah, it'll
need
take care of you.
you'll just need to measure your budgeting. That's pretty
Yeah,
much it. But yes, I mean, I have few of those, and I have a great interest, and I'm looking to acquire a few more of a seller finance properties. I mean, I already used and pretty much my credit is full as far as buying. I have at least 2 mortgages under my belt. I mean, how many properties you can buy using your credit, right? Up maybe 5.
No, I
But
think you can get 10. I think it's 10 with the traditional, lending route.
okay, well, I mean, I don't know. Like with recent dot act, it's more difficult to qualify for the financing. Even people who is making some millions of dollars, they they will not be able to qualify. But I mean, it's possible to do, and but I love to uh, I love to acquire the properties using the seller finance strategy, where I'm not actually using my credit and I'm acquiring the property through someone else's credit, and
Okay.
that's definitely
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit because I was negotiating a deal that I'm about to close on now a few months ago, and I was going to use that strategy, and then we ended up just getting creative and coming up with something a little bit more beneficial on my side. So, and on his as well, because he wasn't looking to do owner financing for a long period of time.
right.
So, so how do you go about that? Owner financing, how does that work? Like what is that exactly for
And
those?
those, so yeah, I mean, to acquire those properties, I mean, you need to find the lead, and usually the lead is someone who is has some trouble making a payment, say they in bankruptcy or medical bills. So you see these guys and start talking. How can we help these guys, right? Say for example, we acquired this property where this guy had 27 years on his mortgage at 4.5%, and say his payment was about $800. And so what we did, we negotiated down this guy where we gonna acquire this acquire. So there's a contract called contract for deed subject to,
Yeah.
where they basically the that property goes to our possession, and this guy will basically walk away. You'll walk
So
away.
in that situation, you guys are basically taking over his current loan, and you are you paying directly to the bank with your own money, or are you paying him and he pays the bank?
Well, we actually using the escrow. We actually using the escrow, but we are the one who actually making those payments for him.
Yeah.
He's not making any payments. We
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
the who
Of
are,
course.
and then yeah, we definitely negotiate the deal. Maybe we'll throw some cash on top, So we say, hey, we'll save your credit, and we'll maybe give you a couple thousand more, so you'll feel happy and start your new life.
Yeah.
And so yes, and then what we do, say for example, we're doing some remodel on this project, right? And then we bought this for 140, and then we did the remodel for like 30 grand, so 170, and then we sold this house for 250,000, meaning that we still have an equity in this house, right? But we just sold this house to someone else. But
Yeah.
what we are getting, since we are financing 215,000 and becoming our own bank, right? We're charging the interest rate. We're charging a little bit higher interest rate. It's a premium, at least 2.5, 3%. So say we acquired 4, and then we actually sold it at 6.5 or 7. So we're getting this spread of cash flow of at least $450 plus. We're making some money out of the interest until he is gonna refinance this property, and then you decide with him what that term would be.
Okay. So you guys, after you built the value in the property, instead of actually flipping the property, you are acting like the bank now and doing exactly what you guys jumped into with acting like the owner financing now.
Exactly. So
Oh, that's great.
you're becoming your own bank, and that's the beauty of the seller finance. So say after he can refinance it anytime he wants. He can say, "Hey, Nick, I'm ready to buy this property." I don't know. Maybe he got I don't know where he's getting money from, but usually this type of deals they have at least 50% of default.
Yeah.
So
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 you
then
can always take it back and get that high down payment and also the spread over the lifetime that is more than, interest wise, and I'm sure the monthly rental as well, that what you originally negotiated with the original seller. Now, is there a balloon payment with the original seller that you have?
Exactly. So yeah, what you exactly doing? You're leveraging your risk.
Mm.
So you don't have too much risk when you with this guy's defaults. Then we take his down payment, or maybe we negotiate on the new terms. So, but it definitely saved his life, and it's very beneficial to our side. But let's see, what was the question again? I'm sorry, I lost it.
So there's a balloon payment, correct?
Oh, the balloon payment, yes. So yeah, they can refinance it anytime they want, pretty much. They can say, hey, here's the 215,000. So what we do is we just he just paid for the balloon payment, or we can just refinance it for him again.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Nice. I like that. So that's the kind of strategy that you're looking to acquire from now on, moving forward, along with the fix and flips.
yes,
So
exactly.
how do you actually come across a lead like that? Are you guys doing direct mail marketing at all, or is that still the relationships built within realtors? I feel like
Well,
that's a kind of niche that is more, find that one person that's going through that struggle that wants to get out of their property.
yes, exactly. We started a direct marketing campaign, and then that's how we come up with this one. And then it's a word of the mouth as well. So
Nice.
it's more tough to find those. I totally
It
agree.
is.
And because obviously these properties, and the greatest leads are the leads that are not on MLS, right? I mean, you can find it still, you can still find a good MLS property where you can work on and make some money, but obviously if you find the lead, that lead will make you at least twice as much as you would make. if
Yeah. No, that's good. Now, when it comes down to the direct mail marketing campaign, I'm personally just about to get into that in San Diego area here. And I know different markets, it has kind of a different ratio, but I'm curious, what does that look like? How are you guys all doing handwritten letters? Do you hire out a company? What does it cost you per letter? And what are you guys writing on the letter to make it look attractive enough for somebody to open?
Uh, yeah, I mean, direct marketing, I mean, the success rate is not big, I would say. I don't know, maybe 1.5, 2% is the most. and
Yeah.
that's and that's a good thing. But yes, we are working with one of the companies where um, what they doing, they actually be able to they have a database. They find those people. Say for example, we concentrate on a few counties, right? And then what they can provide the data which will say, hey, these guys are, say for example, delinquent from 90 days to like 120 days. These guys can be in bankruptcy. So we are actually target what we're doing. We target um, uh, those potential sellers.
Hmm.
That's what we're doing. So when you target, I mean, you can do direct marketing, spend a lot of money, but that's what we're trying. We're trying to find this niche where we can target those specific. Uh,
Those motivated sellers in that,
yeah,
particular smaller area.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
And how much is it costing you?
So that is, I would say, it's almost about 60. I think it's about 60 cents a letter.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah.
So yeah.
And what does that letter look like to be presentable?
Well, I mean, we just saying, hey, we know you. We're not saying that you're in trouble, but we're saying, hey, is there a way we can help? And
Yeah.
that's what we're doing. And that's
Yeah.
what we're exactly doing. It's not I'm trying to bribe anyone. You know what I mean? It's like I'm trying to help people, and that's how the business works. I mean, if you're not trying to honestly and respectfully to help people, you're not gonna make any money in this business.
You're right. I like that. That's a good tip. It's crazy. I heard a success story with one of my friends over in New Jersey, back where I'm from. She ended up she made hers like really colorful and really stood out, and her success rate was 20%.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like mind blown from it. I was like, what? Like, I gotta pay you a bunch of money to be able to really take some time out to do that, because that's a huge success rate. But like you said, it is typically you're playing the numbers game, and as long as you niche it down to that particular area and you just constantly repetitively, target that, with the idea and intention to actually help out, get them out of that situation, then it's a win-win for everybody, and it will pay off. It's just you do have to play that number game.
Exactly.
So yeah, I like that.
It's all,
Cool. So what other learning curves? I'm sure there's been a bunch that you've gone through that could actually help out some listeners that are just getting started, and or people that are interested in taking the next step and getting to the next level in their business.
right. Well, it's tough to say. Everyone is different.
Yeah.
But I would say educate yourself. Number one thing. I mean, before I become a full-time real estate investor, you gotta be prepared for this. You gotta be prepared. You make sure you're not in a rat race. For example, you gotta make sure that all of your bills are paid.
Yeah.
You're not becoming a real estate investor in one day or two. That takes years to become. But if you do interested, I mean, you don't have to be a full-time real estate investor, but you can still invest in real estate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's, I would say, to me, that's my passion. I love working with people. I love helping the people. I like the numbers, and all this come together. That's why I'm here. But to start with, I would say educate yourself and find a partner, or maybe who can help you to achieve that goal. Say go to couple conferences, go to couple meetings, and then I usually go at least the 3 to 4 regular meetings a week, where we gather together, like, I don't know, 20, 30 of us, and see what's going on. we
Yeah.
share we share the ideas, we share what we have under the table, or on the table, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're just trying to work together. It's competitive, but in the meantime, we help each other. It's not a W-2 job where you're making this competition. You're trying to help each other. Of course, there's competition, but you're still trying to help each other to achieve the same goal, which is this financial stability and helping people around.
Yeah. I love how you mentioned that. I do run into some individuals within real estate, not many anymore, but there are some individuals that really, they want to like keep all the deals to themselves, and not, there's so much real estate out there that I've never come into this situation or this problem if when it comes into like a bidding war or anything, that I know after doing my due diligence, I know the most that I can offer on a property, and then to be comfortable with it. And then if somebody else outbids me on that, or, I'm not going to go over that number, because I'm not going to fall in love with the aspect of the item. But know what, the numbers make sense when it comes down to the investment side. And there's so many more properties out there that, just keep doing it. But I like how you brought up education as well, because, surrounding yourself, going to those, RIA groups, real estate investing groups in your area, or, just checking out Meetup online, and other investor groups, just gathering together to help, cut other people's learning curve in half. That's actually one of the reasons why I started this podcast, to really help get the learning curves out there for beginners or other people that are interested in taking their business to the next level, to, bring that mastermind together and really help people. Because I learned originally a lot from webinars, and, just doing the education part online and in books. So I think that's pretty tremendous.
Exactly. And then I just want to add that, yeah, you don't have to have a lot of money to make money, you
Yeah.
know? So that's why you can learn to be creative and using other people's money and help to achieve their other financial goals.
Yep.
Like, for example, using their 401k, Roth IRA, etc., where they can invest uh, and buy real stuff
Yep.
like real estate, not investing in this mutual funds where they're gonna all of the they'll pay 6% of their costs to the fees. Whatever. So that's why you're gonna they will end up with the real thing. Will provide the constant cash flow, or and in the meantime you can make some money out of it as well. So it's a win-win situation. You just need to know about it and be creative about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's well said. There's so many people that come up to me that constantly, they realize that real estate is the way to go to get that financial freedom or to be able to hit their goals so they can travel the world or whatever it may be. And they all think that you need a ton of money. So they're all like, well, one day I will once I, win the lottery. So it's funny. But I'm glad that you brought that up. You don't need to be the smartest guy in the room. But surrounding yourself around other people that are taking action in it and being consistent and just persuasive to get those deals, getting out there and taking action, I think is very key to somebody's success.
Totally, yeah. You gotta be consistent and you gotta be organized. You gotta be in the game.
Yeah.
You gotta be in the game, and you gotta have your own routine as well to be organized. So that's another thing I want to mention. And say you have to have a routine. You have to have all this meeting. You have to have all of this calls, or maybe even play some tennis with your buddies, or play some soccer or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's another thing where you we have. I'm a part of another real estate organization, and we actually gather each year somewhere like we go to vacation, say to Mexico or the Caribbean, whatever. Like
Nice.
it's like 100 of us, and then we just go together. We just have fun. So you have to play hard, but you have to have some relief as well.
Yeah, you got to have that balance.
Yeah, you have to have a balance. You have to have fun. You have to
Yeah,
have fun with it.
I like
So,
that.
so yeah, that's
So
how it
Nick,
is. Yes,
well, so what does your future look like? I mean, what are the goals this year? I know you have some big goals and you want to get into some land development, but what do you actually see happening?
well, at this point, I mean, I'm planning to acquire. My goal is acquire at least eight seller finance properties this year.
Nice. That's my goal as well. Not seller financing, but 8 properties.
No, you got it, man.
Yeah.
And then yes, I want to continue to do some flips, and that's the goal is 8 to 10 on this subject.
Cool.
I'm planning to actually. I mean, I do have another business as well. I have a motorhome rental business,
Yeah.
in Salt Lake City, and we actually opened a location in San Diego. So I'm trying to develop this business as well.
Cool.
So, and just continue learning path and live a life.
Hell yeah. I love it, brother. So, I like to ask all the guests, but how can we actually serve you? How can we give back to you and help provide value?
Well, I know that we actually kind of talked about it, and then I have some interest to working in San Diego since we are opening a location of our um, a motorhome business called RV Grizzly, and then like a bear.
Yeah,
So
RV Grizzly. Okay.
RV Grizzly. So yeah, so we are. I'm planning to spend. I'll be still here in Salt Lake working, but I will travel often to San Diego. So I'm planning to maybe work on one of the projects in San Diego as well. And I think Brandon will be a great help. And I know that you do some investments in other states where you can provide a great cash flow on your duplexes, and there's some great interest in that subject as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if anybody is listening and wants to, get that opportunity, I think that'd be great to actually be able to give back to you and add some value, connect with you. So how can people reach you?
Well, the best way I think is through my email or through my just page on Facebook. So say my email is nick.ziq@gmail.com, and you can find Zenith IQ Consulting. You can just search that in the Facebook or Google, and you'll find my page.
Cool. All right, cool. Well, brother, I want to thank you so much for, taking the time out of your day. I know this week's been crazy for you with contractors and and, just getting everything done with the opportunities coming your way. So I do appreciate your time. It means a lot that, you took the time out to actually give back and help the listeners out there. I think that's awesome. I appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, Brandon, and I hope I bring some value to the table, and I appreciate you as well. Thank you.
Of course, man. All right, cool. Well, everyone, my name is Brandon Elliott. You can reach me at BrandonElliottInvestments.com, and my email is BrandonElliottInvestments@gmail.com. This has been another show of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. Till next time, guys. God bless.